God realization. This story has been taken from Yogavasistha. Often, many of us try to set up some goals and try to achieve it. But the success totally dependent on the effort one makes. Out of hundreds and thousands, hardly one or two succeed in attaining the set goal. Why many of us fail to achieve our goals? One may keep counting many reasons for failure, but as a matter of fact, there is only one reason behind one's failure, that is lack of practice. Yogavasistha is one of the toughest book of adwait philosophy. While studying, I find one very important topic related to God realization. Briefly, this is discussion between Virochana, father of King Bali, and King Bali itself about how to get God realization. Please listen to the discussion carefully and try to practice the process mentioned to make suitable ourselves and qualified to get the God realization. The story goes like this. Virochana said to King Bali, "Son, the pure soul who transcends all the positions, right from man to the position of Brahma, the master of the mind, intellect, senses, and body, is like a king. The soul has made wise mind his minister. When that minister is conquered, everything is conquered and achieved. But it should be considered very formidable. It is won by means, not by force." Bali Maharaj said, "O Father, please tell me clearly the method to attack that minister mind so that I can win over that fearful mind." Virochana replied, "My dear son, one who is extremely disinterested towards all objects of sense pleasure is the best person to win over the mind. By that method, the intoxicated elephant-like mind can be suppressed immediately. Son, this tactics is very rare and the ultimate, also accessible. It is extremely rare if it is not practiced. But if practice is done well for it, then it is achieved spontaneously. Son, if detachment from the object of senses is practiced gradually, then this detachment also becomes clearly visible from all sides, just like a plant rises by watering. Son, just like as a paddy is not obtained without sowing, similarly, if the practice is done not without a detachment, then no matter how much a person who is enamored of the object does not get distaste for sense pleasure. Therefore, you strengthen it by practice." These living beings who live in the trough of the world keep wandering in various kinds of miseries such as birth, death, old age, and disease until they become disinterested in object of senses. Just as a man of very strong body, if he not move by lifting his feet, he cannot reach desired place. Similarly, a man with physical strength, if he does not practice, he cannot attain dispassion from the objects. That is why the man should practice detachment while contemplating and wishing to get liberation in life, just as a vine planted by irrigation is increased. Virochana continued, there is no other means in this world other than the supreme effort to achieve auspicious results devoid of joy and resentment. It is attained only by one's effort. The Daiva is discussed in the world so much, but there is no such thing as whether the Daiva is situated somewhere in the body. That which is definitely happening, which is the result of one's own auspicious and inauspicious work, the same has been named here as Daiva or Prarabdha or destiny. One's destiny or Prarabdha is conquered by supreme effort. Whatever Jivatma takes on and resolves with effort, he receives that substance in this world in that form and not in any other form. Son, there is nothing in this world other than the effort. Therefore, take shelter of good effort and obtain dispassion from the side of enjoyment. Unless detachment from the enjoyments, which is the destroyer of the worldly bondage, is not attained, then there can be no attainment of victorious ecstasy. Son, without practice, the painful plight filled with the snakes of objects of sense enjoyment can never go away. Bali asked, how is the dispassion from the objects of the senses can be firmly established? Virochana said, self-realization definitely produces the fruit of detachment from the objects of the pleasure. When there is self-realization, there is a great lack of attachment to the sense pleasure. Therefore, through a pure and sharp intellect, a person should realize the Supreme Lord with a very good conscience. At the same time, be completely devoid of attachments from the objects of senses. In 2 parts of a day, a man of pure and sharp intellect should devote his mind to the pursuit of the scriptures in the form of detachment, full devotion, and in the 3rd part, being situated in a secluded place, concentrate his mind in the meditation of Satchidanandaghan Paramatma, and in the 4th part, his mind with devotion engage in the service and obedience of the Guru. Only a person who has attained the sage-like nature is entitled to receive knowledge and instruction. Just as clean clothes acquire the best color, in the same way, a virtuous man carries the teachings of knowledge in his heart. This mind is like a child. it should be subdued by the persuasion of holy words, tips, scriptures, by being pampered slowly. Son, with pure, subtle intellect, one should contemplate on Satchidanand Paramatma only, while completely devoid of craving attachment. Because with the realization of the Supreme Soul, there is a complete absence of craving and attachment. In that state, the divine is realized. Like these two things are dependent on each other, therefore, the means should be kept together. When there is a great lack of attachment in the enjoyment, and one gets the realization of the Supreme God, then the soul attains the limitless peace that can never be destroyed. A person who takes pleasure in objects and tests them never gets infinite bliss in this world without listening to the divine principle. Only by doing sacrifices, charity, austerity, and pilgrimage done in a fruitful spirit, only temporary happiness is attained. Without having accurate knowledge of the soul never becomes disinterested in objects through fruitful means such as austerity, charity, pilgrimage, etc. Son, without supreme effort, the intellect of a man does not engage in the knowledge, in the welfare of the soul by any means. Without the supreme effort that comes from the complete renunciation of enjoyment, there is no attainment of supreme peace and ecstasy. The kind of peace that a man gets after realizing the Supreme God as the ultimate cause is not found anywhere in this whole world, from the position of Brahma till the grass. A wise man should take shelter of supreme effort. Renounce the Daiva from a distance and hate the enjoyment, which is the greatest obstacle which keeps the door of self-realization firmly closed. Become completely detached from them. From disinterest towards the enjoyment, thoughts about the God arise, and when thoughts about God arise, dispassion starts. As the sea fills the clouds and the cloud fills the sea, in the same way these two means complement each other. Just as soulmates who have great affection for each other prove each other's desires, similarly, disinterest in pleasures, thoughts about the God, and the constant vision of the soul, these three strengthen each other. A person should first earn money by virtue of patriotism. With that money, adopt noble and virtuous gentlemen. Serve them and make them friendly. By associating with those virtuous souls, one starts to become detached from the enjoyment. Then comes the rise of rational thought. After that, the true meaning of the scripture is experienced. After that, gradually the supreme state of God is attained. The moral of the story is: effort changes destiny. Effort is chanting the holy name of the God, practicing dispassion from the object of senses, reading a scripture, meditation on God, and believe in the words of Guru leads to the realization of Supreme God. This will immediately stop one's perpetual repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease, and one becomes free forever.